Okay, those of you that watched the last few seconds of our previous video, you saw that we had problems with our shower box, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess we need to first explain what we have a shower box. What is it?
It's a Rule 98B shower box, which they use a lot in boats, things like
we
that.
stole that from actually Marvin and Mary.
Sure enough.
So that we could have shower with onboard gray water tank.
Well, our gray water tank sets on the same floor level as basically the shower.
Right.
So, you know, and of course where the gray water enters the tank is towards the top of the tank. And we
so
also
we have to drain the shower and then pump it up.
Right.
And that's what a shower box
you know,
is.
and anyone that's been around plumbing at all knows that there's a favorite saying that stuff don't run uphill.
Water doesn't run uphill.
Well, stuff don't run uphill. Right. So this works fantastic for that. And we've been very, very pleased. And the thing did fail, but it's partially kind of our fault.
Yeah, we've used this. We installed this June of 21. We've used it every single day, several times a day.
Right.
And here it is, the middle of September.
Well, not quite the middle of September.
Almost.
It's like the 5th or 6th.
No, honey.
What day is it?
It's like the 7th or 8th.
I'm retired.
Anyway. And it worked great.
Yeah.
Until it didn't.
About a week and a half ago is when we started noticing
It started
issues.
like, wait a minute, that pump's not kicking on.
Right.
And I was in the middle of a shower.
Yeah, and then we ended up with, because the pump didn't kick on, and then we had shower or water all
over my cavity.
Yeah, all over the cavity down here, as you can see.
Yeah,
so
that was a mess.
And, you know, and for a while, what we did, we found that if we tapped on the switch,
the float switch,
which is this little booger
thingy right there.
That little booger right there, the float switch, that it would make contact and it would kick the pump on. So the pump wasn't really failing itself. It was mainly the switch.
The switch.
Right.
So that was a chore because one person showered and the other person's sitting there flipping the switch.
Right, to make it make contact so it would kick on the pump. Now, when we say it's partially our fault, we did not do proper maintenance on this thing. We just, because it worked so well for so long, we didn't think about, you know, going in there and servicing it and cleaning it now and then and stuff like that.
You know, it's no different than in your house. You don't think about it until it doesn't work.
You just forget about it until it doesn't work. So we did, where we were able to pop the pump out one day, and when we popped the pump out one day, all kinds of junk had collected in the bottom of it. And once we pull this old pump out, we'll show you what we're talking about. But all kinds of junk had collected in the bottom. We cleaned it as best we could, but we still couldn't get all the stuff out at the base of the pump where the pump actually picks stuff up. Although the pump seems to be working okay.
The pump seems to be doing fine. We just want everything to be a little more...
Yeah. And probably we could have got by with just ordering a new switch.
Yeah, but we didn't
replacing
know.
the
Here
switch.
again.
Yeah, at the time. And I thought, no, let's just go ahead and get a whole new shower box. They're not all that expensive. $128 is what they are. And I figured, well, we got a year and 3 months out of it for $128. That's not horrible, you know.
Not horrid.
And we'll probably get longer service out of this one we're putting in.
Yeah, because we might.
Because we've learned some valuable lessons. But we're going to show you all about this. But here's what we ended up doing until the new pump came in. Since this switch had quit, I went ahead and clipped the wires off of it. See if I can show you down here. See, they're just dangling there. Yeah. Clipped them off of that. And then I had this little switch right here that I'm going to be using on another project. So I just simply wired it in place. So then what we did, while one of us was taking a shower, the other would sit there and stand here and watch.
Flip the switch.
And flip the switch. Now let me show you how this works. Hang on just a minute. I'm going to reach over here and turn the water on. And you'll see water in a moment start to drain in. There it comes. And by the way, our shower head is 1.8 gallons per minute. And then when it would get up to about, till we'd watch the float even though it's not hooked up, and then Deb would turn the pump on. And then it would, you know, start to go back down. Now, of course, when you're taking a shower in a boat or an RV or something like that, when you're using a shower box like this, the whole idea, of course, is not to let the water run constantly the whole time you're taking a shower. You go ahead and wet down. Now see there, now she can go ahead and turn it off. But anyway, and a little bit of water will still continue to drain out of there. But anyway, what you're supposed to do, you know, you wet down, turn the water off, soap up, then turn the water back on and rinse off.
So the only time that takes longer for me is when I'm washing my hair.
Yeah.
Because it takes so long to get all the soap out
Right.
of my hair. So then we said, you know, wouldn't it be nice if we had an emergency overflow
Right.
pipe?
And we are going to rig up an emergency overflow system on this just in case, and it'll be easier to show you all of that once we get this
Right.
pump out. And then we'll sit on the table and we'll show you all about what we're doing. And maybe if you all decide to go this route, you know, you'll learn from this, and maybe you can incorporate the same thing if you decide to use a shower box kit.
Because this
in
worked
yours.
perfectly.
Oh yeah, it worked awesome up until about, you know, a week and a half ago or 2 weeks, and that's when we
Right.
started having minor issues.
Right.
But what we're going to do now, and I guess I need to talk about one more thing right quick before we go. The way I've got this shower set up, I have a side drain coming off of the drain at the shower, and you can get them on Amazon. We'll post a link to it. But anyway, it reduces down to 1.5 inches, and I went ahead and reduced it down to 1 inch. The 1 inch tube connects to the end of the side drain that's there at the shower, and it flows through this tube right here. And that is a 1 inch inlet right there, and then that's where the water drains in. Now this other tube that you see right here, that is where the wee goes.
Call it what it is. It's urine.
I use the U word, but that's where that goes, because we have a separator kit on our toilet, and you know, while we're here, we haven't finished this bathroom, so you know, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
We're getting ready, and it's kind of a good thing that we hadn't finished it yet, you know, because
We'll still have the floor where we can easily pick it up.
Right. We'll have this where it's easily picked up. So I've still got to build a whole new toilet seat here and everything, you know, to make this look, you know, like it's supposed to, and trim it out properly. But we're using a, what do they call that kit? Privy 500, right?
Yeah.
Which
Here again, we bought it from
yeah,
Amazon.
we'll post a link to that. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, the wee goes into this thing as well. Urine. There I use the U word again. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and take this out, and we're not going to film that part because I'd have to edit a lot of colorful metaphors, I'm certain.
It's going to come out real easy.
Oh, I think it will. All I basically have to do
Is you got to
is
undo those
you know,
little clamps.
undo those two clamps there.
where
And then,
it's-
and I've got it screwed down like with 4 screws around it, and that'll easily pop out. The hardest part will be, you know, popping those tubes off of those barb fittings if they froze up on there, but we'll work them loose. And we'll have to use the wet vac and keep up with,
yeah, because there is always a little water in that.
right. So anyway, we're going to get to work on that, and then we're going to show you more about how these pumps are set up out here on the table. Be back in a little bit.
Well, that's gross.
I know I was going to warn everybody that this may not be for folks with
And I, you
weak
know,
stomachs.
I poured bleach in there and
Yeah, I know.
blah, blah, blah.
This is the old pump. We got it out, and actually it came out a little easier than I thought it would.
Told ya.
Yeah, well, I know.
Gotta think positive.
I know. I know. But anyway, the part, like we say, that failed was the switch here, and you can pop it out pretty easily. But you can hear it click. I don't know if you can hear it click or not. I'm going to get my microphone fairly close here. But you can hear it click as if it was connecting. But even though it would click like that, it wouldn't make a contact. Now, Deb did say that when she had the lights off,
Well, we were in the middle of the night when, and anyway, we knew we had an issue, and we just turned the light on in the front part of the trailer, and every time I would flick this, it would flash.
I see. So evidently the contacts were kind of contacting, but not really, and they were just making a spark inside there because you could see a flash coming in.
Right.
Now, as near as I can tell, this thing is sealed. It appears to be sealed pretty good. So I'm just wondering if maybe the contacts, you know, just wore out. And but it pops in.
It's not going to last forever.
No, here again. But you can pop it in. See, I just clicked it right in, and you can pop it out. There's two little tabs down here that you push on either side of it, and it'll pop out. But we're not going to go ahead and re-pop it out because we're going to replace the whole thing anyway. Now, when we started having issues, we also wondered if maybe the pump was going bad, and the pump also comes out fairly easy. It's friction fit. You pop it out like that, and you've got an O-ring here, as you can see, that goes inside this right here. I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but it slips right in this hole here, and this of course is where
and that comes out.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
a little...
there's a choker valve. Well, it's kind of like a check valve in there, but there's a choker valve in there. You push it out that way. Mm-hmm. And we put an inline check valve because this thing really doesn't close all the way, but we do have an inline check valve there as well. But you know, it is there. Now, when we popped this out a couple of weeks ago, when we first started having issues, this thing was just all loaded with crud everywhere, all around it. It's a wonder it even pumped at all, to be honest with you. But these things are designed.
And even though it has this thingy that's supposed to, this thingy's holes are too big.
Yeah, so some, hair and stuff gets through. Of course, I don't have any hair to speak of.
No, it's all me.
So it's all Deb. And no,
I could fix that. I could shave my head.
I'm not going to let you shave your head. I like your hair. So there. No, she's not going to shave her head.
I could.
But, it's really made to be serviceable no matter what, and really what we should have been doing is at least once a month, we should have been popping this thing out and cleaning it all around here. And then it goes in fairly easy. You first slide it into the hole and you push on it like that, and then you pop it back down and it fits on those tabs down there, and you're there. That's not much to it at all right there. And then, it keeps on going. But the pump is still pumping,
right,
as you saw earlier in the video. So we probably could have got by with just replacing the switch itself. The thing about it is, though, Rule makes this is a 3500 series switch here, which is what the new pump came with, is a 3500 series. Rule does make one called the 3700 series, 37A, I think.
Yes.
And it is what they refer to as the super switch. And if I have to replace the switch later on the new pump, which, probably will have to, that's probably the one that I will go with. Now, to replace this particular switch, it's like $30 or so. But the 37A, I believe they call it, and they also refer to it as the super switch, and it will fit right in this spot, and I've already checked all that out. It is $50, right around $50 or $58, right in that ballpark. Look it up, the Rule 37A super switch. That is the one I'll go to next time. Now, when I read the specs on it and the description, it claims that the internal contacts inside have been tested up to 1 million times. 1 million contacts.
1 million showers.
1 million times. Well, that wouldn't be 1 million showers, because during a typical shower, it'll probably kick on and off, five to 10 times.
Yeah, depending.
So, anyway, this is the old pump that came out. This is a basic understanding of what it is. Now we're going to pull out the new pump, and we're going to show you some other precautions that we're going to take with the new pump. Be right back. All right, this is the new pump.
And it's pretty.
It is nice and pretty. I wonder if we could keep it that way. Probably not. But anyway.
If you never used it, you could.
Huh?
If you never used it.
Well, yeah, if you've never used it. Yeah, that's the way you make things last forever, is never use them.
Never use them.
Right. That's the way you make stuff last forever. Remember that, folks. But anyway, this is where, now this one here, this is an inlet. Actually, all three of these are inlets. All three of these right here. Now, they've got these blocked off.
And we never unblocked it on the old one.
And we never unblocked it on the old one either. This is the one where the shower comes in right here. This is where it goes in. And of course, this is the outlet where it pumps up through the external check valve that we have in line, and then goes up, let me say that again, goes up into our 65-gallon gray water tank. Now, what we're going to do also, And one more thing I need to point out. This is a vent hole right here, of course, which, you know, stands to reason. You got to have a vent hole.
Got it, because the lid has a gasket around it.
Right.
And so it seals pretty tight.
Yeah, it does. So it seals pretty tight. So this is a vent hole right here. Now what would happen when the switch would not kick on, the thing would start filling up and then the water would come right out through this vent hole right here.
You've never lived till you've stuck your finger there to keep it from leaking on the floor. Now what do I do?
Yeah. So what we're going to do, and we've already drilled a hole for it. You can see this little apparatus right here. We are going to, let me see if I can position this in such a way so you can see it here. Let me get it a little close. No, well, I'm looking at my monitor right here, folks, so I can show you what I'm going to do. But we're going to utilize this as an emergency overflow. This actually sets a little lower than this over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, and I've got some 3/4 inch tube here, right here, 3/4 inch tube. What we're going to do is, and I should mention this.
I don't know what you did with the pieces.
It comes with a variety of fittings, 1 inch and 3/4 fittings that simply screws right over on these. You don't have to use Teflon tape or anything like that because you've got O-rings here. So what we're going to do, we've already drilled a hole through the floor, and we'll show you how we're going to do that. But we're going to mount this where it goes through the floor, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Then we're going to put one of those fittings on there that takes a 3/4 inch tube, and then we're going to run, which means we also have to cut this little tip off right here, you know, so it'll be an opening right there. But then we're going to run this where it goes down through the floor, and it will be an emergency overflow drain just in case we have this trouble, so we won't end up filling up the well inside the trailer.
Who wants nasty water in the bottom of their trailer and try to dry that out?
Right.
Yuck.
Yeah, and we had to do that a couple times, didn't we?
Yes.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this mounted up. We're going to go ahead and cut this little tip off right here and screw on the proper fitting, and then we're going to show you the end result. So we'll be back. All right. Here's what I've got made up. This is what will go through the floor. Now what I did at the floor, I drilled a hole through the floor that's just a little bit bigger around than this pipe right here, this 1 inch PVC, actually 3/4 inch PVC, and just barely big enough where it'll slip through. And where you see this mark right here, that's how thick our floor is from here to here. From here to here is how thick our floor is. Then what we're going to do here in a little bit, I'm going to have Deb go in there and poke this through the hole, and then I'm going to go ahead and put cement on this fitting here, and this little bit will stick out, and then I will glue them together. And what that will do is that will go ahead and seal this together so nothing can get through. But this is how you pass through a wall. This is the way I've been doing it, using fittings like this. Now also what I'm doing, the other end will have a threaded end on it here just in case I want to add a valve later, if I feel like that I need to add a valve. And all this is just a drain line. There's not going to be no pressure here, so we don't have to worry about any kind of pressure. Anyway, that's what we're going to do next. All right, the new pump is installed.
That took a while.
Well, no, it really wasn't all that bad. You know, I ran into a couple of issues with getting my emergency drain, overflow drain, hooked up correctly. But we blitzed it.
We blitzed it.
So let me show you what we got here. This is the new pump all installed here, and if you look closely, right there to the far left, that's where where we're going to utilize that as the overflow emergency drain right there. Got it going down through the floor. Of course, you can see where the shower line comes in to the box, and you already know that's where the wee-wee comes in, urine. And then, of course, this is the pump that pumps it right back out. And it's working pretty well. And one thing we've noticed, and you'll see here in a second, it's much quieter. You'll hear it again here in a minute. Maybe. Come, there you go. Yeah, that's it. And it stays up with, keeps up with everything. But I'm tickled to death that this is all done. How about you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I kept telling myself, it's no different than a toilet that runs over at a house.
That's true. That's true. All I can say is it was a little inconvenient for a few days.
It was,
You know,
yes. We're spoiled.
I did kind of enjoy standing there while you were showering, so I could flip it
No,
off and
that's...
on. Okay, never mind. I don't think you enjoyed while I was showering, though. But that's another story. I guess we better go.
I think so.
Anyway, this is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventures, and you know what we're going to say? Well, we're not camping.
We're living.
Y'all get out there and do some living, and we'll see you again soon. You know, we do move over in just a few days, move over to where the Fall Tiny House Adventures Rendezvous is going to be held.
Yep.
And we will keep you posted on that. All righty?
All right.
We'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.